I got off work early that day. My boss, Mr. Dawson, had canceled all our afternoon meetings, which was strange because he was the type who lived for his job. But I didn't think too much of it. Instead, I thought it was a sign, a chance to surprise my wife, Lisa. We'd been married for 6 years, and things had felt a little distant lately. I figured maybe I'd take her out to dinner, bring back some of the spark we'd lost in the daily grind. I even stopped by her favorite bakery to grab those little raspberry tarts she loved. When I pulled into the driveway, I noticed something odd. Her car was there, but the house was eerily quiet. Usually, if she was home, I'd hear the TV, music, or at least some movement. But nothing. Just silence. A strange feeling settled in my gut, but I brushed it off. Maybe she was taking a nap. As I stepped inside, something felt off. You ever walk into a room and immediately sense that something isn't right? The air was heavy, thick with an energy I couldn't place. Then, just as I set my keys down, I heard it. Soft laughter coming from the bedroom. Lisa's laugh. But she wasn't alone. There was a second voice. A man's voice. My chest tightened. I knew that voice. I'd heard it every single day for the past 4 years. It was Mr. Dawson. My mind raced. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Maybe he's here for some other reason. But deep down I knew. I moved toward the bed like my body already knew what my mind wasn't ready to accept. My hands were clammy as I reached for the door handle. I pushed the door open, and there they were. My wife, my boss, tangled in my sheets in my bed, looking at me like I was the one who had done something wrong. Lisa gasped, clutching the sheets to cover herself. Mr. Dawson just stared at me, his face draining of color. No excuses, no explanations, just the raw, ugly truth sitting right there in front of me. For a long moment, none of us spoke. The room was filled only with the sound of my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. I wanted to scream, to yell, to demand an answer, but all I could do was stand there, frozen in place, watching my marriage and my career go up in flames at the same time. Finally, Lisa broke the silence. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered. And that was it. That was all she had to say. The most cliché, pathetic excuse in the book. A bitter laugh escaped my lips. Not what it looks like? How stupid did she think I was? Mr. Dawson finally found his voice. "Listen, man, I cut him off. Just don't. I couldn't stay there." I turned on my heel and walked out, ignoring Lisa's desperate calls after me. I drove aimlessly for hours, my mind spinning. My wife, the woman I had trusted with everything, had betrayed me. My boss, the man who controlled my career, had destroyed any sense of respect I had for him. And the worst part? They hadn't even tried to hide it. They had been so comfortable, so secure in their deception, that they hadn't even locked the damn door. That night, I packed a bag and checked into a hotel. I didn't know what was next, but I knew one thing. I was done with both of them. The next morning, I sent in my resignation letter and called a lawyer. If they thought I was just going to roll over and take it, they had another thing coming. And you know what the craziest part is? A few days later, I found out that my entire office knew. Apparently, this had been going on for months, and I had been the last one to figure it out. Looking back, there had been signs, the weird glances, the whispered conversations that would stop the second I entered a room. But I had trusted them. I had never even considered the possibility that the two people I respected most would stab me in the back. But hey, lesson learned. Trust is a fragile thing, and once it's broken, there's no putting it back together. And as for Lisa and Mr. Dawson, they deserve each other. I just hope they realize that relationships built on lies never last.